Hello, welcome back to Run My Arts watercolor tutorial series. So before I jump into the tutorial, I'm just going to share with you my recent tutorial on how to paint this ginger cat in snow, as well as other winter themed paintings of these cute animals like this white mouse and a normal mouse in a winter ambience. So do check out those tutorials, and the video links are in the description. So the painting size is rather small, which is A6 size, similar to all the other winter ambience paintings. And since this is a red squirrel, most of the time I'll be using a similar brown shade as in Indian red, madder brown, as well as burnt sienna. So these three brown shades roughly falls into almost the same category, which is warm colors. It's just that they might differ a little bit, as in a reddish hint or a brighter brown or a deep brown hue. So since the burnt sienna seems to be the brightest and less red, I'll be using the burnt sienna most of the time. So there is no pre-sketch of the red squirrel's image, but I'm going to show you on how to paint easily. And I'm going to kickstart by painting this wet on dry surface. And I've decided to paint the squirrel's head starting from the bottom half of the paper. So if you're painting on a bigger size paper, it's going to be half of your A5 size or A4 size paper. So I kickstarted by marking the pointed ears with wet paint, and after that I am using a damp brush to wash the pigment further downwards and forming the shape of the squirrel's face. So by using this technique, you will have more control on the flow of your pigment, since there's not much paint applied. It's just on certain corners or point, which is the ears, and then washing it further with a damp brush. And right now I am dropping in more pigment using my rigger brush, since I just want a minimal staining of the paint on the pre-wet surface with the light washes that I did earlier. You can use a micro brush as long as it can control a minimal staining of the paint and not too much of paint bleeding. And I'm trying to maintain a brighter look on the squirrel's snout. So right now I am trying to lift out some pigment using a clean damp brush. So since this is a red squirrel, I'm just adding in some madder brown, which has a reddish hint, and just dropping it on the ear areas where you notice the most reddish fur on the red squirrel's ears. Moving on, I've decided to use Sapphire to mark some dark areas in the squirrel's fur. A little cleanup on the snout of the squirrel, since I want to maintain its nose in a very bright shade, so I'm lifting out the pigment. Done with the head, now it's time to paint the body, and I'm using the same burnt sienna in a medium consistency. And as I said, this is going to be a very minimal type of paint application, similar to the ears. So now I'm kickstarting with the shoulders, and of course I'm applying the wet paint on a dry surface of the painting. And after applying this paint, I'm going to once again use the clean damp brush to wash this wet pigment further onto the other parts of the body, especially its chest. And once again, sapphire shade, or you can use burnt umber, to paint all the dark shades in its fur, similar to what I did to its ears. And now for the reddish hint, I'm back with the madder brown shade. So using the same painting method and paint shades, I'm going to continue to paint the rest of the squirrel's body. Alright, time to paint the most significant part of the squirrel's body, which is its tail. Once again, using the same burnt sienna as well as other brown shades. So remember, every time I am applying the first coat of paint, it is basically wet paint onto dry surface of the paper. So in order to achieve a fluffy or bushy looking tail, I am wiping off the corners of the outline of the tail painting using a damp brush. As you can see here, as I apply the brush strokes on the corners of the tail painting, it starts to bleed further onto the wet areas, and this helps you to achieve a fluffy or bushy look. Alright, mixing in the rest of the brown shades to drop into the tail painting. Alright, time to paint the background. But if you think your squirrel painting is extremely wet and you're afraid that the squirrel painting might bleed further onto the background, then you will have to only proceed once the squirrel painting is dry. As in my case, I notice as slightly dried, so I am not worried about any pigment bleeding. And before painting the background, I am just pre-wetting it with some clean water. I am using indigo for the background. If you'd like to proceed with any other darker shade, go ahead. Or you want a lighter shade as in light gray, it's totally up to you, whatever that meets your preference. So just some light washes of this indigo on the pre-wet surface so that you will achieve a softer looking background. So I'm leaving the ground or foreground of the painting white with some little hints of shadow, because I'm creating an impression of a snow-capped ground. I've also decided to paint in an impression of winter berries in the background, so I have dropped in a little bit of permanent carmine. You can use crimson into the reddish brown shade that we had earlier from the squirrel painting, and just dropping that in. And it achieves a soft bloom since this is a pre-wet painting. And also using sapphire shade to paint in some loose twigs for the winter berries using my rigger brush. Lifting out some minor pigment around the corners of the tail so that it looks even more fluffy. A little bit of clean water spritz onto the background painting so that it could achieve some minor blooms or patterns on the wet painting. You can omit this if you don't prefer to do so. Alright, once the painting is completely dry, you can proceed to paint the facial features of the squirrel. Once again, I'm back with sapphire shade. You can use black if you want to. I prefer to use Sapphire most of the time. I'm just painting the eyes using my micro brush. So I would recommend you to use micro size brush in order to paint in these fine details. And another tip in painting these fine details, you want to paint them using a thick consistency of paint, because if your paint consistency is too watery, then the fine details shape can be distorted as it becomes very runny. So in order to soften the look of the squirrel's nose or snout details, I'm just brushing off the thick paint with a damp brush so that it appears more natural instead of too much of a sketch look. So similar to the nose details, once again I'm brushing off this pigment on its mouth areas using a clean damp brush so that the paint application appears much softer, or in other words, brush off look. So I'm not going to focus too much on the squirrel's hands and feet. However, I do realize that they often have claws and sharp looking fingers. So I'm using a micro brush so that it creates an impression of sharp lines, of fine lines. And after applying the paint, once again I'm brushing it off with the clean damp brush. More fine tuning details on its ears. As for highlights, especially on the squirrel's eyes, I'm using a white gouache paint. You can use an acrylic as a substitute or some dry medium as in pastel pencil. As for the squirrel's whiskers, I'm going to use a script brush so that it could apply even more fine lines. And in order to paint these fine lines, it is also important to ensure your paint consistency is a bit watery, because you don't want a very thick looking whiskers. In fact, a very watery consistency of paint would help the brush bristle to glide gracefully. A retouch on the winterberry and its twigs, but this time I am using the wet paint onto the dry surface. After painting the winterberries, I'm going to brush it off with a clean damp brush so that it gives it a washout look, creating an impression of frozen berries or snow. Next, I will need some shadow effects to accentuate the look of this red squirrel entirely, starting off with the eye area. So it's a mix of burnt sienna with ultramarine blue. You can use a cool grey shade if you have one, and just applying it lightly onto the eye areas. Now applying the same shadow effect onto its neck or chest area so that the head looks, or the chin looks sharper, so that the head stands out from the body. After applying the paint onto these areas, I am brushing it off with a clean damp brush. Finally, to create an impression of snowfall or snowflakes, I am using the same white gouache paint and just creating spatters onto the entire painting. a little bit of water spritz onto the white paint spatters to help it bleed further or bloom further, creating a much more softer look of the snow effect. If you're afraid to make these paint spatters, then you can manually apply them in a form of dots, especially onto the body parts of the squirrel, like what I'm doing over here. A little bit of contrast in that snowfall effect, and I'm using indigo. A little bit more and we're done with this red squirrel painting. So give it a go, try to paint this without a pre-sketch, and also don't forget the tutorials of the rest of my winter theme painting of these cute animals. And if you liked this video, do hit the like, share and subscribe button if you haven't. See you in another video. Bye.